Stay the fuck away, stay the fuck away. Stay the fuck away, stay the fuck away. Hello everyone, Sean Patrick is back and 110% slaptastic. I'm sorry I couldn't do my show last night. My visit to the gynecologist hurt more than usual. I don't think they're training their volunteers properly. But I did put on this happy party shirt tonight because I'm celebrating, and I'll tell you why. My virtual hugs and kisses go to YouTube. In the wake of David Ickey's interview yesterday, and yes, I know that's not how he pronounces it, but he is one of the few creatures on this planet that doesn't even deserve that much respect. YouTube is in the process of having his content removed, and they also claim to be taking steps to remove all dangerous misinformation about COVID-19. So I guess you won't be able to find Trump on there either, eh? Yeah, don't hold your breath. Ickey is probably the most famous and most easily debunked conspiracy theorist on the planet. He's been filling books with his dystopian nightmares and stadiums with his rambling for years. And some people say that because of this and his having written over 20 books, that somehow legitimizes him. Well, if that's the case, are there all sorts of people out there thinking that vampires are real because of Anne Rice? And the content of his books are just a bunch of various conspiracies for which the facts are sourced from that guy who lives in the dumpster behind the Burger King. These are interesting concepts that might make decent sci-fi novels, but he can't even stick with one idea long enough to write a novel, which is why he fills these books with crap. Look, at some point, everything in life requires a bit of a leap of faith. I wasn't in the lab when they did these experiments and the research, so my leap of faith is that the research had actually been done. These studies are agreed upon by multiple respected medical journals. I had to go through a lot of research through different sources before I leapt, or really, found the logical conclusion. In Ickey's case, when he's saying things like Bill Gates is going to fill the vaccine with mind-controlling nanobots, he has literally no basis for that statement. And if he did attribute it to someone other than himself, it'll be the equivalent of that guy who lives in the dumpster behind Burger King. You have to take a massive leap of faith just to get in the door. And as for his 1% controlling the world conspiracy, the sort of people who want to take control of the world are people like Trump, and his sort do not play well with others, which he proves multiple times daily. So here's a totally awesome and totally empirical science experiment that you can try at home when this is all over. Unless you happen to have these things around your house. Okay, so take two 4-year-old children and put them in the same room with one toy that they both want. What do you think is going to happen? Now, okay, you may have found the two nicest 4-year-olds in the world. So chuck another one in, and another, and another. Keep on throwing them in there until you get 70 million of them, because that's 1% of the world's population. It's just ridiculous. And what if? What if he's right? What if the 5G towers are causing COVID-19? Well, it doesn't matter because he's not saying what if. And unless it's in a sci-fi story, I prefer my what ifs to be a little more positive. Like, what if I was a unicorn? Or what if cheese was free? He has spewed too much bullshit for too long for me to address in even 100 shows. So what I'm going to do is this. In your honor, I hereby rename COVID-19 the Ickey. So the big deal in the addresses was, moistly speaking, ooh, what a terrible image, the 30,000 respirators being made here in Canada. Does that mean you expect to need that many? When are we getting them? Do you think that's going to be enough? What the fuck are you not getting? This is a new, ever-changing situation. We don't even fully understand the Ickey. These things are unknowable. And do you remember how we have a healthcare system? That system includes administrators that work closely with the government. They are the only people out there that need to know these numbers so that they can pass them on to the frontline staff. They aren't avidly watching the news for one of you to ask that for them. And this information is no way helpful to the general public. Another journalist asked my Justin if he supports the fining and charging of the assholes who aren't observing the physical distancing rules, which, yeah, all right, fine, but no real information can be gleaned from this. Then they asked if the number of tickets issued indicated that many people are still not taking this pandemic seriously. Wow. Yes, that's exactly what it means. If people were taking this seriously, they wouldn't be issuing any tickets. It doesn't matter if it's one ticket or 100 or 1,000. That's too many. In his English response, Mr. Trudeau said that we need to make sure that everyone does their part. To which they yelled, "Is that yes or no?" I think that is clearly enough yes. But then in French, the answer was a bit more severe. I don't know how much of this was him and how much was the translation, as my French is subpar, but the translator said, I think it's important that people be motivated and encouraged, and that they know that there will be consequences if they don't follow that advice. The most serious consequence will be more dead Canadians, more pressure on the healthcare system. Nice! The kid gloves are off. Then, when asked about the antibody test to see if someone had the antibodies to fight the icky, he suggested that it could have societal implications, which seemed to confuse a reporter later. So I'll spell it out for you. What could happen if Joe down the street tests positive for the antibodies, and that gets out to the scared general public? In international news, I bet that all developmental service workers here in Canada wish they lived in New Zealand. Why, you ask? Well, aside from the fact that that place just looks friggin' beautiful, we just declared developmental service workers essential in the last 2 weeks. Since New Zealand declared the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy essential today, I imagine their DSWs got the proclamation much sooner. Just the clip I saw of the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern declaring this was the cutest thing I've seen since I Skyped with my wife. Hey, hun, think you can find some bunny ears for tomorrow? Well, that's all I've got for today, so I might just curl up with a good book. Remember, stay the fuck away from each other and clean everything a lot. A lot!